There's a very specific sound you listen for in an RV. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's just water. And when you turn the faucet on and hear nothing, your mind immediately starts racing ahead of the moment. The morning last week reminded me that rolling smooth isn't about preventing problems. It's about how you meet them when they show up. Welcome back to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life podcast. I'm Stan, and whether you're listening from a campground, a driveway, or just daydreaming about the next trip, this show is about real RV life, not the highlight reel, not the perfectly staged Instagram moments, but the mornings that test patience, the systems that ask for attention, and the lessons that only show up when you live in a house on wheels. This past week, Bertie Bea handed me one of those lessons. Freezing temperatures, no water, nothing broken, but nothing cooperating either. And that's what today's episode is really about. Not frozen plumbing as a checklist, but what that morning revealed about what rolling smooth actually means. Let me set the scene. The morning started normally. Up early, like I always am. It's cold outside, and coffee already on my mind. Then, no water. No alarms. No burst lines, thankfully. Just silence where flow should be. For context, my water pump isn't in the wet bay. After a failure back in Nebraska, it was relocated to an adjacent bay near the fresh tank. It works fine, but it sits just far enough away from shared heat that when temperatures dip hard, it feels it first. Overnight, that bay dropped into the high 20s, cold enough to stop flow, not cold enough to break things. That distinction matters because this is where RV mornings either stay calm or spiral out of control. Rolling smooth is not pretending nothing goes wrong. Quite the opposite. It's not forcing systems to behave because you're cold, frustrated, or behind schedule. And it's absolutely not cycling a pump over and over, hoping ice gives up. Not happening. Here's what I didn't do. I didn't panic. I didn't start tearing fittings loose. I didn't blast heat into one spot and hope. I definitely didn't grab a camera. I shut the pump off. That's a small decision with big consequences. Pressure plus ice is how RV horror stories start. Preparation isn't about heroics. It can be about restraint. Doing nothing sounds easy. It definitely is not. Not when you don't have water, not when you're watching temperatures, not when your plans are already drifting. I checked the strainer. There was a thin film of ice, no cracks, no leaks. I inspected the lines. Everything looked normal. So I waited. And I waited some more. And this is where rolling smooth really lives. Every instinct says, just try it again. Just push it. Just force it a little. Instead, I let the bay warm naturally. I ran the furnace intentionally. I monitored temperature, not emotion. Slowly, the system responded. A trickle, then steady flow. Not because I forced it, because I gave it time to breathe. Once the bay reached the low 40s, everything changed. The strainer filled. The lines thawed. Air purged naturally. I tested gently. Cold water flowed. Then hot water flowed. No chatter, no pressure spikes or pressure drops. This is where a lot of people flip the switch and walk away. I didn't. I shut the pump back off again and let the system stabilize, because rolling smooth isn't just about fixing things. It's not undoing the fix 5 minutes later. I dried the bay, placed a leak sensor, reset my baseline. Only then did I return to normal operation. There's an emotional layer to all of this. Even when you know what you're doing, even when nothing breaks. Days like this still make you question your life's choices. You think about how easy it would be in a house. How normal people don't think about frozen plumbing bays. How much mental energy this lifestyle can demand. That doesn't mean RV life isn't worth it. It means RV life is just honest. It doesn't hide consequences. On a recent episode, Bill said it's a newbie experience, and I replied, it's not if, it's when. That's not negativity, that's acceptance. Acceptance that the RV life can be filled with problems at times. At other times, it's just peachy keen. Rolling smooth does not mean nothing bad happens. It means when something happens, you're prepared. You don't panic. You don't stack mistakes on top of one another. You trust that everything is fixable. It's a mindset that says, I can handle this. Not because you're fearless, but because you've slowed down enough to let experience lead. By the next morning, the coffee maker worked. The water flowed. Nothing broke. Not because I outsmarted the rig, because I respected Bertie Bea. If you're new to RV life, hear this. It's not about avoiding problems. It's about meeting them without fear. And if you've been doing this a while, you already know. The real skill isn't fixing things. It's knowing when not to touch them. That's why I started writing the Rolling Smooth books in the first place. Not to teach perfection, but to capture these moments, the quiet decisions, the patience, the lessons that don't show up in manuals, but matter more than torque specs ever will. This week's lesson wasn't flashy. It wasn't dramatic. It was real. And it was worth it. Thanks for spending a little time around the campfire with me today. Until next time, keep it steady, keep it calm, and keep it rolling smooth.